Hi friends, Beck the Feminist Lawyer here. I've been getting a few comments that I want to make sure that I address. I have pretty consistently been on the vote blue no matter who train for a good long while because it's the most statistically advantageous and expeditious way to keep the angry orange man and his ilk out of the White House and off of our bodies and off of our voting rights, etc. By the way, if I'm mincing my words a little bit, it's purely for algorithmic purposes. But it's true. If you do the math, right now, Joe is the fastest and easiest way to keep Tangerine Palpatine out of the White House and keep his fascist philosophy from taking over the United States. There are literally voters of his saying, I don't care if he wants to be a dictator, I'm going to vote him in. And he has admitted to wanting to be a dictator. That said, Joe is not above reproach in my mind. The Democratic Party is not above reproach. If they were above reproach, I would be just as bad as the MAGA folks. I am not in a cult. I am an anti-fascist. The most expeditious way to smack down fascism is the thing that I'm going to support. But in proof of my point that they are not above reproach, I'm going to bring up a problem I got with Joe. I just saw this beautiful piece that I would love to have shared here. Unfortunately, they had duetting turned off. But it was a group of folks in an Irish cemetery talking directly to President Biden about his Irish heritage, talking about the brutal occupation of Ireland by the British and how the British Empire allowed more than 1 million Irish people to starve to death in their own country, which is one of the reasons that Joe's great-great-great-grandparents immigrated over here to the United States, and one of the reasons that Joe is president today. The lady who was speaking actually was like standing at the grave of one of his ancestors and was citing the exact boat that they were on and saying their names. It was powerful stuff. And these Irish folks were saying, this was a brutal occupation and an atrocity that starts with a G and ends with an O-side, doing some ethnic Clorox. And that's his heritage. His people died from this exact circumstance. Meanwhile, he is sending funds over to the oppressor of a different group of people under the very same circumstance. Now, he did fly aid in and drop food, to the people there, but it's a whisper on a scream. It's barely even a whisper. People aren't just starving. I mean, they're being killed in food lines. People are standing in line for food because they're starving, and there are soldiers coming out to those food lines and just gunning down peaceful people because they are from that ethnicity, because they live in that land. Gosh, it is so hard to avoid the shadow ban with the language here. But I'm talking about the watermelon people. And sure, no one supports terrorism. No one supports the killing of innocents. And where did two wrongs making a right happen? Like, they killed some innocents of ours, so we're going to go murder all of the rest of them? So we're going to erase their people from existence? And my country is funding that right now. My kinsman of my heritage is funding that right now. And as an American and as a woman of Irish descent, I'm offended by it. And it's not right. And it needs to be called out. And it needs to be stopped. Yes, Joe will have my vote in 2024 because he is the most expeditious way to smack down the rise of fascism in the United States. And if fascism rises in the United States and we allow it to take power, then all of these issues will fall. The watermelon people will have no hope from the United States. Women's rights will have no hope in the United States. Gay rights will have no hope in the United States. Everything falls secondary to the need to smack down fascism in the United States. We have to continue to hold our right to vote. And that sounds terrible. I can't think of anything else that would take precedence over an issue like this, but it has to, because this issue, the issue of the watermelon people, will only get worse if we let the fascists into office, and the way to stop them is to vote for Joe. But that does not mean Joe is above reproach, and I reproach him, and I hope he listens. We still need to vote for him in 2024. Stay safe out there, friends. Keep fighting the good fight.